Hello, everyone, and welcome to another trip to Nintendoland. I almost said the name of our other podcast. Don't worry about it. This is our monthly Nintendo focused podcast. It's been a little bit more than a month this time, but it's always that weird thing, right? Where it's this time of the year and it's like, all right, we could do an episode in August, but they usually do like the first week of September, or basically they always do some kind of direct. It's always that time of year, the fall direct. And it happened, but not only did that happen, we technically got two directs with a Mario Wonder direct at the end of August. So a bunch of stuff to talk about with my friend here, Auri O'Neill. Hello, Ari. I am
Hello.
Mike Burgess. You should know us by now. We're on episode 30. So I feel like if you're listening to Nintendo Land on episode 30, you probably hopefully know us by now.
You're excited for a trip on the Nintendo hype train.
That's right, because there's
This
a lot.
Is gonna be a good one.
Yeah,
too.
there's a lot of news to talk about, more so specifically than anything else. Because there's some games that have come out, but not too many, and like we'll still talk about that. Like I've completed Sea of Stars.
As have I.
So that's could be a fun chat, and then that's like the main thing for game wise. There's not been too many other big games yet, but there will soon be plenty
Can we get a
for
Pikmin
sure.
update? Pikmin update?
Oh yeah, I guess I did beat Pinkman 4 since the last episode, huh? That's how long it's been. So yeah, I could talk a little bit about that from what I remember, because it was like not too soon after that episode I finished Pinkman 4. But yeah, let's get into all the news here, because boy, there's a lot. Let's just kick off with one of the first of two directs to talk about. We have the Super Mario Bros. Wonder Direct. It was a focused direct on the big new Mario game coming out in, what is it, October 20th, I think is the date it is coming out.
Yep. Same day as Spider-Man. That's how you remember.
Yeah, same day as like Spider-Man. And I think like there was like an I think that Assassin's Creed game was also that day, but I think they moved it. It's like because there's so many games. I think there's like another game too. Like it's crazy.
Alan Wake was that week, and they moved that back 10 days.
Yeah.
So easy to remember that.
Yes, exactly. That's the Alan Wake touchstone point, as always.
Mm-hmm. The Nexus point.
But yeah, the Mario Direct happened. It was like right at the end of August, I think it happened. It was like a little like 15-minute direct, just all focused on Mario Wonder stuff. They showed off all the abilities. They kind of gave like the premise of like Bowser transformed into a fucking castle. He's a castle now, and that's like the form he takes, because this world they're in, it was all trippy and crazy, right? Like it was pretty
the
weird.
Flower Kingdom, right?
I think that's right. The Flower Kingdom or something like that. And there's little like caterpillar prince that you're like helping, and then you're like visiting the kingdom or whatever, and then Bowser shows up and takes the sweet seeds and gets drugged up and becomes a castle.
Yeah.
That's
on brand.
That's pretty on brand. Like, yeah, I really do appreciate, just in general, like seeing for Mario Wonder so far. It looks a little on brand, but also it's like getting weird with the brand at the same time.
Yes.
With all like the Wonder Seed stuff, how like trippy it looks, and all this like breaking of convention a little bit here with some of this stuff just looks really fun and cool. And yeah, it's like, I think we talked about it the last time when it was revealed. Like I'm already like so stoked for this, and it's probably like the most excited I've been for like a 2D Mario game in general
ever, right?
Yeah,
it's like other ones, there was no opportunity to be excited for them, I feel like.
Or it's just like pretty standard broke stuff, because I think we've had new Super Mario Bros. Games for so long, like pretty much since the DS, right? Basically, like the Wii or the DS. That's like all they've kind of been, those new Super Mario Bros. Games. Where this one is like feels like a departure from even that, and like it has like a cool vibe to it, and just the art style looks really nice. Very, very animated characters that are very, very charming and stuff, and I like everything going on.
And I love, we're setting a nice precedent that Peach is she's just part of the gang now.
Yeah, Peach and Daisy are all there. Like Peach and Daisy are both part of the gang as playable characters. You can get both the different Toads. I think there's like a couple different Toads and Toadette as well. Like tons of characters to play as. And then there's also like the Yoshi characters and Nabbit, who are like they're like helper
Easy mode
characters. Yeah,
characters.
they call them like easy mode helper characters because they can't get some of the power ups, but they basically like can't like die from like taking damage. It's just from like falling off or something. And then
And
like
you can ride the Yoshis.
yeah, Yoshi you can ride around on, so you can kind of like if you're like a slightly better platformer or player than somebody maybe you're playing with, they can like just like, all right, just jump on my back and I'll take you through this part. Like, come on, just that's like a fun conceit. Like I like how that can work.
Yeah. Important to note that all the characters play the same in this version, though.
Yeah,
No unique eccentricities.
No, like Peach floating or like Luigi high jumps or whatever, but that's
there
okay.
Are badges. There's a new badge system that lets you basically take one upgrade into every level.
Yeah,
let you do
those look super fun too. That's going to be a thing where I'm really stoked to see this game, like, by like some summer game done quick or like speed running event, and like a year from now, just seeing how people have like optimized this game in a speed running way would be really cool. So that'll be super fun. And they also show that like on the online, there's going to be a full, basically online how you'd hope it to be for this game, where you can play with your friends up to 4 players. Unlike the new Super Mario Bros. Games, it's not like you can like mess around with each other. You're more like ghostly characters but you can all play levels through to take together, which is really cool. I'm happy that's happening. We'll definitely probably do some streams of that ourselves. That'll be super fun. But then on top of that, there was like other online stuff where you could see like ghost players running through levels with you, or you could see like I think you were saying they're like standees that like you can plop down and you can interact with them and like use them as like checkpoints or something like that. That just seems
like short-term checkpoints basically.
Yeah, and that's like a really cool idea too, because it reminds me of like, I don't know if you could leave messages with them. I don't know if that was in there. I can remember that from the direct. But that reminded me of that like the Miiverse stuff and like Mario Maker, which I always liked a lot, where people could just leave messages everywhere and it just would be ridiculous. Very fun stuff that you can get from those. So they're doing all the right things with this game, so I'm really excited for it. The elephant power up looked super fun. Everybody being elephants, and
so silly.
Yeah, you just break through everything, and then the other one, there was like another power up too they showed. I think it was like bubbles or something, and like it's like almost like a fire flower like style, like you throw one out and it can put enemies in bubbles and they'll like float away into oblivion, or you could like make bubbles and you can like jump off them, like extra little jumps or platforms and stuff, which is really cool.
It's like a drill head suit type thing,
right? Yeah. There's that too. Yeah, it's like it reminded me of like having like the spike thing from Mario Maker, because like they showed like rocks or something falling on your head and it just breaks them like that did in Mario Maker. Yeah, it looks really fun. Really stoked for this. October 20th. By the time this episode's out, it'll basically be a month away, so that's really exciting. So that's right.
I'm like just like catching up right
yeah
now,
I know. I feel like I haven't even caught up. I'm just like, I've just accepted that like there's like I think like 2 things coming out this week that I want to play, and I'm still trying to finish other things and play like a game like a Destiny or other things that are similar, and like trying to keep up with those. There's just so much going on, so I've accepted that. I'm just not gonna be able to keep up with anything ever.
I just realized that like the Destiny expansion and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth come out like the same week.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm now just like having an early panic attack just on set right now.
Gonna have to make a hard choice, right?
I'm gonna play Destiny day 1, but then it's like, all right, now I'm gonna drop this hard and like emotional whiplash, because I'm definitely gonna play with you and Ren on anyway.
Yeah.
Besides the point, there are a lot of video games happening right now, and Mario Wonder is part of that.
Yes, it seems like it's not stopping. Even with, you thought like, oh yeah, we'll have a nice little break when we get into 2024. Turns out probably not.
No, you won't.
Nope.
Shut up.
Just gonna keep going.
January's got that Prince of Persia game.
Yeah. Which
looks great.
Yeah, which we can talk about a little bit, because I think it's everything Mario. It looks awesome. I can't wait.
Everything Mario for now.
Yeah. Well, definitely. We'll probably more like that'll probably be our next episode. Honestly, is once that's out, we'll probably be talking about it. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, besides that, we had a full proper Nintendo Direct, which like some
Yeah.
people were like, "Oh, is this gonna happen?" Because we got the Mario thing. We don't know. That turns out they was like, "Oh yeah, we by the way, we still have just here's a 40-minute Direct of a bunch of
Just
news and updates."
in chronological order, though, keep in mind this is how it happened. We recorded our last episode, which was great, and we had a great time. And then, literally the Monday after, reports came out about Switch 2 hardware being shown
Yeah,
at like
yeah,
Gamescom, and of course we're like, okay, well, of course this happened.
yeah.
Then we take extra long. The Mario Direct happens. The Nintendo Direct happens, and everyone vibes from the Nintendo Direct is like, all right, this is the final year. This is
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's definitely a good like vibe check that we're at here for sure. Because it definitely feels like that, where it's like this probably will be potentially the last direct where we hear just nothing but Switch news.
Yeah.
I could still see a scenario where we have a February one and it's still maybe a little Switch focused, but
But
or
maybe a
maybe it's
tease in there as well, you know?
yeah, totally possible that like early next. I'm definitely thinking early next year we're gonna be hearing things for sure, because there's definitely like some news we'll talk about relating to Switch 2. Like they're already demoing some things
That's like
potentially.
real. It's like real now, everyone. We can,
Yeah,
for real,
this is
for real.
legitimate. Like we're not gonna like. I know we said it multiple episodes ago of just like not talking about Switch rumors intentionally, because now it's like it's we knew it was coming.
We were waiting for this,
So
basically.
yeah, we're waiting for like, all right, this seems like this is we're getting into the real stuff now. Um, before we get into that, we had this Nintendo Direct, 40-minute Direct. It was like a full sized one. Definitely, I would say it was.
It was fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say for me, I knew me and you. I think we both really enjoyed it specifically because of one major announcement that probably happened in it.
Yes.
But there was definitely
there were a few things in there that I was very excited about.
yeah, there's a couple cool things in here. So I agree. Overall, I enjoyed it. But yeah, it definitely still feels like the end of cycle direct. And that's like the expectation you have to kind of have at the moment these days, especially with like all this other stuff going on. And it feels like there's still for some reason people who had still like expected everything possible like coming out of this thing, and it just wasn't there. Where's my new F-Zero game? Where's my Metroid Prime 4? Where's this? Where's that? Like, or it's all HD ports, blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, because they're probably holding all that stuff for a new console they're gonna release in a year.
We just got Zelda, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
it's not like we didn't get a lot of really good video games from them this year either. And some of the and this stuff and the stuff and the stuff we're getting they showed in this next year looks pretty good too, even if it is like it's end of cycle stuff. So it is like it is like some HD stuff, but it looks still really fun.
and like the B tier Nintendo stuff. But I'm into the B tier Nintendo stuff a lot of times. Like, for example, I would put Kirby and the Forgotten Land in that tier, right?
Yeah, Pinkman 4.
Yes, perfect example.
Yeah.
So, of that, there are sometimes bangers, and I'm very excited about this Princess Peach game.
Yeah. I was gonna say we could definitely get into it. I think we could just do more or less what we did last time we talked about the direct last time, and not necessarily sit here and we're gonna go by one to every single announcement. Let's just pick our sort of highlights. But so you would say we can just start with that. We saw kind of like the true full reveal here of the Princess Peach game coming, now known as Princess Peach Showtime. But yeah, it's coming out. I think it's like March next year is what they said. I think they gave a specific date. I don't remember that.
March 22nd.
22nd.
My brother's birthday.
Nice.
Very funny.
Very cool. This game to me, like from just the general look of it, very much reminded me of like a Luigi's Mansion 3 tier. Like it looks like it very visually, and it has like a very specific style to it. It kind of felt like a mix between Luigi's Mansion and like a Kirby game specifically, going on here, where basically it looks like you're Princess Peach going to like a big performance, and then it gets like an evil lady shows up, and she messes everything up and like steals her crown or something, and then the whole thing goes awry, and now you have to stop it as Princess Peach, and she has this like little partner friend who like gives her different abilities and like lets you swap depending on like the shows you're doing.
outfit change, baby.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
it's like this is obligatory. It's in a lot of the same ways Super Princess Peach of like, oh, her emotions are her power because she's a woman.
Yeah.
In some ways, like there is a little bit of that of like, and she dresses up and gets different powers.
Yeah. Yeah.
But caveat, and I know I'm new to the girl party, so I'm trying to represent us well. I do like there is a lot more fun to be had here, and it's a lot more. It's more aware of itself, and I think having the motif of it being a stage play, and her having gone to the theater to see this, and now she's like playing these characters in these different roles. I think that's really fun. I think that's a really novel idea.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's cool. I think the thing that appealed to me was like just seeing that like each role is also, it seems like its own kind of gameplay to it. It seemed like the first one they showed was kind of like the sword Peach, and she had like a musketeer outfit on, and she's like
great,
slicing and dicing, and it kind of looked more like looked more like like that's what reminded me of like the Kirby, where like you have a sword Kirby and he's like slicing around, and that moment. But then there was another moment when she's like she had like a old school like detective outfit on, and she's like walking through this museum looking environment and like looking at clues and stuff, and that's super fun too. You saw like a judo like karate Peach and Kung Fu Peach, and she was like parrying stuff. It's like sweet. So there's awesome. There's Princess Peach fucking parrying kicks and stuff. Sure, what the hell? Why not? That's it looks fun, and creative, and it's just I think that'll be a fun one in March next year.
As we'll loop around to later, the stage presentation aesthetic, big part of my Mario game favorite.
yeah. That's definitely always been a fun conceit for Mario games and stuff, for sure. But yeah, that one was super cool. That was definitely a highlight for sure. One that surprised me that I'll talk about was the opener, which was the Splatoon 3 DLC. The side order, which they showed off a lot more of. And this looks cool because it basically looks like they're making a Splatoon roguelite.
Yeah, basically.
Because it's like you basically are going like you're like fighting through floors of enemies and like choosing power-ups or like straight up like stat changes where you're increasing your damage or doing certain things, your movement speeds, and like giving different weapons, and like it just looked really cool. And I like the like they're doing like weird sci-fi like Splatoon where they have like digital weapons like transforming into their hands and stuff. It just looked like fun and cool, and I was not expecting that to like be like, wow, actually I want to play that actually now, because
totally
I definitely remember from like Splatoon 2 like when they got the Octo expansion, that was like the best part of Splatoon 2 for me. So like if it's anything like that, and like it even further beyond that, for Splatoon 3, like this could be like really cool. So I'm definitely down for this. More than I thought I would.
The most near trailer I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's gonna say So those Nintendo people definitely like their near
the Splatoon
aesthetics, or Splatoon team, yeah.
Is very like, they have a vibe for sure. I want to hang out with those people.
Yeah. So that was super cool. I'm pretty stoked, more stoked than I thought I would be for that one.
Yeah, agreed.
Do you have any other highlights for you as well? Before the obvious big one.
Yeah, Sora is going to be an amiibo, which I am shocked.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Actually happening.
Yeah, they did it. They completed the Smash Ultimate collection there, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he looks great. They did it. I can't believe whatever. Like somebody on that team had to be like sacrificed to Disney or whatever.
Yeah,
for this all to work out. But like it's got the Mickey Mouse keychain on the Keyblade and everything. That's the real deal right there. I was blown away when they said that. Genuinely,
they did
shocked.
And they did it. So yeah, that's really cool. I admittedly have not gotten as many. I used to collect every amiibo, but I kind of stopped after a while. So I think I don't have a lot of the. I have some of the Ultimate Smash Ultimate ones, but I think I stopped after a certain point. But that is one that I'm definitely like, man, maybe I should.
Yeah,
Just to get it for get its sake, because I've not really had that feeling for many other ones. I think the last one was like Banjo, and this is like on the same level as that. So I might get that.
I have like a secret growing hunger for amiibo.
I get it. Yeah,
of course. Who wouldn't get it? Look at them; they're beautiful.
Yeah, they're nice, and like they're on like the cheaper spectrum of like cool little gaming collecticbles, because they're usually only like 10, 15
and they
bucks.
have a function if you want to use them, right?
Yeah,
that helps me justify it in my brain. But I started with the DLC characters for Smash Bros. Because I feel like they're all very iconic.
Yeah.
And I love their designs and their stances and whatnot. And then I kind of, it started to grow to like, but what if I got all the Zelda emotes?
Yeah,
just all of
the Zelda ones. I definitely almost went down that path too, of just like, what if I just got all the Breath of the Wild ones and the Tears of the Kingdom ones, and like I got most. I do have most of the Breath of the Wild ones, but I think like the problem is now, like I think is like the champion ones or like super rare.
Yeah.
So like, and because they also are all in a single pack together or something like that. So, but like I think the last time I remember looking them up, it was like they were like super expensive, and I was like, oh well.
I've been getting one Zelda amiibo every 2 weeks. Every time I get paid, I get one.
Yeah.
They're growing. I'm going quickly through the list of ones that are easy to procure.
Yeah. Then you're just like, oh shit. Once you get to certain ones.
Someday I'll get them all. And Sora will join my beautiful pink bookshelf of amiibo.
Hell yeah. Beautiful. Love it. Next up, another highlight I had. I would say it's like, it was like the thing they showed immediately, not in the direct, was exciting, but more so like all the other extra details that came out about Super Mario RPG.
Yeah.
There's like the website, the websites and stuff went up, and people were looking through those for extra details for Super Mario RPG. Because in the direct, I think they just showed it was like, hey, there's gonna be like a almost post game, like you can rematch bosses and they're super hard thing. And then there was like one other thing they put in there. Oh, it's like a thing where like enemy. I think in this version of the game now, like if you hit like perfectly time a move, it hits everybody in the squad or something. I don't remember if that was in the original game
Action
or not.
commands will hit all enemies. That was not in the original game. Although there were some attacks that would hit like multiple enemies.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is like regular attack action command will hit everybody, which changes the game a lot, honestly.
Yeah, it changes the game a lot. And then like there's also like team attacks, which I don't think were in the original game either, where it's like depending on what the team of 3 you have in a battle, they'll do like a special move, and it has like their own little cutscenes with them, and they were shown a few of those. Look very cute.
Good.
Very cool. Another thing that I saw, some details that came out from the websites is that you'll be able to switch between the original soundtrack and the new updated soundtrack, which I think is really cool for them to do that. Excellent. So yeah, very, very cool. But that was kind of only show. They didn't really get too much into that. And honestly, I'm fine with that. Like, I don't think that game, they didn't need to show a lot more of that game. It is just that game remade and very impressive looking. It's that one's November, right? I think it's like early November.
Yes. November 17th, 16th?
Yeah, November 17th. So that was cool. But before we get to I know there's like one big one. The one big one we definitely want to talk about. I do want to shout out the Mario Kart DLC. They showed, they threw a curveball at us with this one, which is actually pretty cool. Because if you've been following any like the DLC stuff or any of like the leaks or data mines, it was always it was presumed we would only have two characters left, because you can even load up Mario Kart 8 Deluxe now and see there's just 2 question marks left. And then it turns out they show the trailer and we're getting 4 characters. We're getting Funky Kong, Diddy Kong, Pauline, and Peachette. Which immediately I think like Peachette might just be like an alternate costume or something kind of thing going on.
Maybe. Yeah.
But yeah. So it was cool to just see like, oh yeah, they just threw that in us. On top of that, the track that was shown, which is a Wii Daisy Circuit, was also not one of the presumed leaked tracks from some of like the data mining things that have been happening with the game, because everything's kind of we kind of know a decent amount that will be in here still, just because of how the track record of how we've had previous DLCs where it's like always like there's like multiple tour original tracks, and in tour right now there's 4 tracks that have not made it over to 8 yet, that are only in tour, have only been in tour and were made for tour. So pretty strong chance we're gonna get those 4 tracks, and then there'll be 4 of the kind of from previous Mario Kart games. The other 4 will be from that. So now we know one of them will be Daisy Circuit. Plus there's probably those 4 other tracks that we haven't gotten, where it's like there's like a Rome track, a Madrid track.
Ooh.
And then I think the other 2 are like original tracks where it's like a Piranha Plant, like Pirate Cove looking track. And there's one where it's like a bunch of like you're driving like a bunch of big like pipes that are like in this like kind of like cavern area.
Okay.
So those are kind of the 4 tracks that are like made for tour that haven't been made in 8 yet. So we're gonna get those. But a lot of people thought, because like it was like I think like the data mines were saying that like there's going to be 2 Double Dash tracks, a Wii track, and then a Super. I think it was going to be like a Super Nintendo or like a Game Boy track or something like that. So people were thinking the Wii track was going to be the Rainbow Road from the Wii, because it's like the last DLC. It's like the end of the cups and stuff. But now it seems like it might be Daisy Circuit, and it might not be the Wii Rainbow Road. So we'll see how that ends up. Or maybe they just could have swapped some other track out. Who knows? Now, so they kind of just threw it up, which is kind of exciting, because then now it makes like be like, oh yeah, there's a potential for other tracks we didn't know that were probably going to be in here show up. So that's cool. But yeah, more Mario Kart, always good.
Yeah.
I pulled another article that I think we just talked about here, since we're talking about Mario Kart. On top of all this, we've also learned that like Tour is essentially ending its content, in terms of like it'll still be going, but they're basically be recycling tours, because that's how Mario Kart Tour works, where it's basically every 2 weeks a new tour starts, and that's usually when it introduces like either a new track or like some new characters that you can like go for or whatever. So I think it's starting like the first week of October. There'll be like an anniversary tour, which is like the 4-year anniversary tour. And then I think once that one's done, then they like it'll basically start just recycling older tours and not be any more new content. So it's pretty clear that there will probably not be also more Mario Kart DLC beyond the booster course stuff that we're probably getting because of that. At least that's what it seems like.
Makes sense.
Yeah, definitely that I think that's like the true pinning of like this tour ending, then probably us getting the Mario Kart DLC. I would say probably like, November, December, whenever. Will be the kind of the true capstone end, I think, potentially of the Mario Kart 8 era of Mario Kart, potentially. So that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Could be. I guess, who knows? Nintendo always
What a run.
What a run. Yeah, what a run.
Years.
11 years. That's the hope, right? At least then maybe like trying something new or at least like having like a new Mario Kart with a lot more new stuff in it. But you never.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that would be really cool. But who knows? There's also potential they just go, here's Mario Kart 8 Ultimate, and they just like port 8 over and just add a bunch of the old tracks that they never brought over.
Yeah, baby.
Because there's still technically a lot of tour tracks that were made for tour that were like from previous games that like never made it into 8 now. So there's tons of that stuff they could work with, regardless of if it's a new Mario Kart or there's just some kind of weird ultimate Mario Kart, whatever they want to do. We'll just have to wait and see.
This is one of those signs, right? That this is it for the Switch.
Yeah.
We're in the end,
Yeah,
like
for sure.
They're Mario Kart 8 DLC is ending and they're ending tour. So clearly those people can work on new Mario Kart for new video game platform.
Yeah. Or at least go like full force into that if like some smaller team hasn't already, right? Like I definitely think we'll see a new, especially if we're getting the new Switch next year. Like probably the assumption right now is now fall next year is when we're going to see probably some new hardware. Like I don't know if we'll see a new Mario Kart by then. I doubt it, but like I think within that first year of that new hardware, it feels like a pretty strong bet at this point to
like
seeing
a perfect March game, post-launch March game to me, like March 2026. I know
March or summer.
It's wild to think that we might be alive then, but that is
the meteor's just ready to take us out before then.
In 2025, I guess technically, but that makes sense to me. That's like great timing. Have a holiday with a Mario game or something, and do the whole damn thing again.
Do the whole dang thing. The whole bunch of new games, for sure. But yeah, I think those are like the big Nintendo announcements. There are like some smaller things in here too. Like, we had some like some
new
like
Saga game,
the new Saga game, a new like Tactics, like Square Enix, like what was it, like
Vanillaware game?
It's like it's like Vanillaware and somebody else are like collaborating. Is it Square Enix? I can't remember who.
I believe
it was.
It is Square Enix. Yeah,
they're making like a Tactics game called
game?
Unicorn Overload. What a video game name!
So good.
Yeah, I just had to say that name. So that amazing.
So there was like good stuff for people that were looking for it in this.
A sequel to Wargroove, which I think that's pretty cool. I think people are really into that one, like that kind of Advanced Wars style thing. Dave the Diver it's getting ported. It's coming in it's coming in October. Like they're porting that already. Again, so that's cool.
That's
really
one of those classic Nintendo, like they found that PC indie game and
the same with Trombone Champ. Trombone Champ finally is coming to Switch. Like that's pretty big. That's a good one too.
Yep.
Prince of Persia game they showed again. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD also next year. I think it's February.
Can we talk about this like live die repeat retcon of Luigi's Mansion's name as now?
because it was it would have been Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon HD, but I guess they're just calling it Luigi's Mansion 2 HD.
2 HD.
Yeah, which I think, to be fair, I think in Japan Dark Moon was called Luigi's Mansion 2. I think
so.
So I could see this just being like them just keeping that the same.
Funny. It's just so funny.
It is pretty funny though. It's 2 HD. Here you go. I wonder if we'll get to a point where you can also play all the Luigi's Mansion games on Switch. Because now
just gotta get the first one.
Just gotta get that first one on there. But yeah, let's talk about the finale, the big one. I definitely think
I can't believe we're living in this world.
I mean, after seeing the love they gave to Super Mario RPG, seeing this then was like, okay, yeah, they get it, because we are getting a remake of Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door next year. They didn't give us a date, but I would assume it's probably after a lot of this stuff, so it'd probably like summer or like early fall. Definitely probably like one of the last things for the Switch if it does we end up getting that thing. And dang, what a closer to close out on, because I wouldn't want to assume, but I feel like I'm safe to assume this about you, Auri, including and I'll say this for myself, but like this would probably be like a top 5 video game of all time for me, and probably you, right?
It's in my top 10, I'd say.
Okay.
But this is like my favorite Mario game.
Yeah.
Of all Mario games, like where it fits in, this is it. And my feeling, there's a lot to say about it, but they could have done, like, I would not have been shocked if it was the first game remade.
Yeah.
Or if it was like Sticker Star, some monkey's paw.
Color Splash.
Curling.
They did Color Splash. Here it is.
I totally would have
Color
believed
Splash
that.
HD.
Yeah, I don't, please. I'm damaged enough. But like or Super Paper Mario, right? There was a lot of but they specifically chose this one with its wacky characters that Miyamoto hates and that he doesn't want anywhere. But you can see they're all like perfectly and carefully remade from the ground up in this trailer, and it's like
there's even like additional things. Shout out to the Game Explain. Triss over there did like a really good video of like doing like extra details, and he pointed out there was like in the section when you're like when you're about to go like fight Rockhawk and you're like in like the center square, there was like a new NPC in that area that was not in the original game, and like they pointed that out, which I thought was really cool. They pointed out like some dialogue changes that like little minor things were like, oh, in the Japanese version, this character did originally say this in the Japanese version, and now like the dialogue fits a little bit more with how they originally did it. So though it may not be potentially like the exact 1-to-1, but it seems like, like you said, everything there you can see from all the models and the sprites, like they look like the characters did in that game. Like there's, they're going for that vibe. The stage is back. They're fighting on the stage. It looks amazing.
It was so good.
They showed you meeting the dragon, which is like the big first boss. Yeah. And like all the lighting and like reflecting on that dragon. I was like, I don't think that game needed that much lighting. Now it looks fucking sick. Like what the hell?
It's like that was like
when hearing the updated music. Oh god.
Oh yeah. And it's clear like the composition is still there, kind of like Super Mario RPG, just getting that same love. And this game has one of the best soundtracks of any Mario game for sure. Mm-hmm. That Rogueport music, when that like came in, I was like, oh. Like, it sent tingles down my spine. All these like little attention to details things, all the unique character looks, the stage, all this stuff are the things that are so unique to this game that they really make it special. And I love that they very specifically showed all those things in this trailer, right?
Yep.
You see a bunch of the different action commands that all the different companions can do, and how they're all different button presses and unique and really interesting. The
characters are like much more animated than they were before. Like they showed some differences with that, where like some characters like in the previous game would not have like even simple things like Trish was pointing out in that video, like back sprites. Like characters in the original game didn't have back sprites for some of them, but in this one they do, because they went that length to like add back sprites to the characters. Because why not? Like there's like extra like little some of the animations and the emotive animations they do, and some of the cutscenes are like different, where like they're showing in like one scene, like the little baby Yoshi like doesn't have an expression, but now they showed it compared to the scene in this, and he has like a little like shocked surprise. Like they look just they're like more emotive and stuff too. Yeah, just like they're doing a lot of little extra details on top of that. Like it just looks cool.
They showed the Bowser 2D levels, like again, like the very specific things that you're like they need to not fuck with this, and they just literally are just doing that. Yeah. When very cool. When Origami King came out, like one of my big takeaways is like, oof, I love walking around in this world and how pretty it is, and the way the paper craft style has evolved since the original Paper Mario, which if you like go and play that N64 game, it does not look nearly as good as these games by today's standards.
It's just like a bunch of sprites rather than like paper style. Yes. Really.
Which was cool, and I love how they got here to like the Color Splash Origami King stuff, where it's like crazy paper mache levels of stuff. But it would have been my dream to see that level of detail applied to Thousand Year Door. Now it's just happening.
Yeah, now it's just happening.
I was so not prepared for this. I want you to know.
there's part
hysterical.
of me. There's definitely part of me that thought like if they were willing to go the distance on something like Super Mario RPG, that this could happen. But I definitely did not go into this direct being like, okay, bring it, give it to us. I was expecting this to like, maybe on like the Switch 2 or something. Like it could be something they could do. But then they should drop it at the end of this direct like that and just show it off. They're like, yep. Next year, it's like, yes, come on. That's awesome. Yeah. Can't wait.
It was a very good day for trailers for me.
Yeah. A lot of state of play happened that same day, and there's a lot of cool stuff in there too, for sure. Yeah.
It was wild. I'm so happy that they're doing this. And I know, because trust me, everyone who's played 1,000 Year Door knows that like almost no one has played this game. Even less have finished it.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to buy this game. I'm like begging you.
Just absolutely play it.
It's incredible, and I really think that you're gonna have an unforgettable experience with it. Like so many people miss this gem. It has a really lovely story. The Princess Peach falling in love with a computer type stuff is like whatever.
Yeah, it's weird but kind of silly. Like
anything. Yeah. They were going. It was 2004. They were going for like the time and in a post Matrix world and having fun with it. And I think as long as you don't read too much into it, you'll have a good time. And outside of that, it's just, incredible visuals, incredible music, incredible story. It's the only video game I know with both a train murder mystery and a tournament arc. and they both work and are incredible.
Yep.
So yeah, please play this game. Buy it so they know that people want this kind of Paper Mario game again.
Yeah. Yeah, I really hope this is the catalyst for them to be like, okay, yeah, we'll make another one of these style.
Get weird again.
Let's make one of those style Paper Mario games, because clearly people like it. I'm hoping this shows them that like this will be something people show up for when this HD or this remake comes out. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely worth it.
As long as
so excited.
The Switch 2 is backwards compatible, which again we've talked about it many times. We'll talk about it a little bit later. I think for sure it will be.
Yeah.
Then I think this game will succeed, and I'm so excited for it to succeed because like y'all are just in for a treat. This is just such a good Mario RPG.
It's especially like if you end up playing, if you've not played Super Mario RPG, and probably gonna play that.
Yes. And then play
later this year, like and then you end up. I would say, especially once that comes out and see people like it a lot, and have not played Thousand Year Door, I would definitely be like, yes, 100%.
This is
go play this because it totally 100% is. This will probably get me to go back, and because it's been many years I haven't played the original Paper Mario. I might finally go play that again just to like get in that vibe, because I remember still liking that one, not as much as Thousand Year Door, of course, but like I remember still liking that one quite a bit. So I might finally do it.
It's on Switch, It's on
so. That's where I was thinking of checking it out. I was on that. But yeah, overall, pretty solid direct. It was
I had a great time.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well. I think it was just it is that you can feel the end of life cycle stuff coming, because like it is things I'm excited about, but it is also absolutely, it's just like it's HD, it's remakes of things. Those that are cool, they're good video games, but it is just that it's not the new original things, and that's okay. And that's okay. That like largely it is that, even though we still are getting a couple of new original things like the Peach game and the WarioWare game, also, which we didn't even mention. We didn't even mention the weird F-Zero 99 thing. People got something F-Zero at least, I guess, even though it's not really my thing, but I'm sure people who want that
testing the waters type thing,
Yeah. For sure. But yeah, that's cool. Overall, solid direct, for sure. And I'm still looking forward to a lot of these Nintendo games that come out from here on into next year.
It's crazy. Like Mario Wonder and Zelda, I feel like if both of those hit this year, and certainly Zelda was a hit. I'm happy to report. One definitely
turns out.
And I think people will look back and chalk this up to be a very good year for Nintendo, and I know people have mixed feelings about ports, right? I think stuff like Mario RPG, Thousand Year Door, like things that are old and have never been ported before or remade, I'm more into those than like here's Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition, right? Like, I'm not gonna get super stoked on that for sure.
Yeah,
but I think that's a fine way to fill out your final year, especially if all these games are going to work on the next thing.
Yeah.
And it feels good. Like we got one of the greatest games ever made this year from Nintendo, and it's clear like that team needs a break. So I think it's totally fine.
Let them cook on a new thing. Yeah, for sure.
No Zelda ports. I am wearing my Wind Waker shirt. Sorry, everyone.
No Zelda ports. That could be. I think that could be something that they put on like as like a launch thing. It's just like an extra thing.
It's coming
for like Switch 2. Just like here's your dual pack again. Because why not? Because everything else is here at this point. But yeah, that's all the direct stuff. Yeah, a lot of directing happening, or whatever you want to call it. Good stuff. Stoked for Mario Wonder. Stoked for other stuff.
I'm going to throw this out here because I've been thinking about it since we mentioned the February Direct and whatever's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this is the last thing we hear from Nintendo for the rest of the year? Or do you think that maybe in December we get a little like, hey, we got new hardware coming next year? Maybe even like Game Awards type deal.
Yeah, because that's the thing that first popped out when you said December was Game Awards, and I was like, At first I was like, nah, but like they did show, like Xbox showed it that one year, and you knew Keely would definitely try and sniff out a little Nintendo tease for sure.
I don't know if they would do it just because they're Nintendo, but they should do it.
Yeah, it would be pretty hype if they did get that there. But I don't know. There's definitely a vibe to me that I feel more strongly about for some, I don't know, for whatever reason, is they're going to do like what they did for the Switch, and that there will just be maybe some odd trailer one day, and then they will do like a full unveiling like early next year. Maybe that trailer is what Keely gets, is like the weird that's the weird like little tease of like here's like a person in his home and he's on a rooftop doing dumb bullshit, and then he pulls out something, you're like, what? Switch 2, whoa. Maybe it's that, but I could also just see them doing like, here's like some big Nintendo presentation. It's not like a direct, but like it is like the thing they did for the Switch, where it was like more of like they did like a full on like in-person presentation that they only did at that point, right, years ago in Japan, showing off that direct and a bunch of trailers and stuff. And I could see that being early next year. And then we will probably get some February direct that is maybe like a follow-up of some like last minute Switch things, but maybe like some other things that are maybe related to that. But I feel like we'll get like another big news blowout of that new thing next summer, during that like usual summer E3 timeframe. That's just like where my brain is at, but who knows? Nintendo can just kind of do whatever they want really these days. So like they totally could just show up at Keely with a trailer or something, or even just randomly drop something whenever, right? Because that's what they did with the Switch.
Yeah, that some October Thursday that got the Switch trailer.
Yeah. And they just show up with that and are like, what? Yeah, here it is. Yeah, we're doing a new thing. Here you go. Check it out.
NX put to rest.
That's right. But yeah, let's talk. We can talk a little bit more about that, because there's some news that came out of Gamescom, some behind the scenes demoing apparently of the Switch 2 at Gamescom, as like some European gaming like websites and stuff reported. The report I have here, I think, was like they were the first to break it. This was Eurogamer from Tom Phillips. Basically, they had a demo to show off behind closed doors. A developer presentation for Switch 2, which took place behind closed doors. Eurogamer understands, with partners showing and they were shown tech demos of how well the system is designed to run. One of the Switch 2 demos is a souped-up version of the Switch launch title Zelda Breath of the Wild, designed to hit the Switch 2's beefier target specs. And he put in parentheses here, to be clear, though, this is just a tech demo. There's no suggestion the game will be re-released. Nintendo is yet to publicly discuss plans for the inevitable Switch successor, though its new hardware is widely expected to launch at some point in 2024. Word that is now being shown to external developers comes as details have begun to emerge around when we may see the system launch, and other things like that. I think he broke it first, but there was some more details. I'm not sure where those were at. Maybe I can.
Yeah, it was Video Game Chronicle.
Okay, it's VGC.
But yeah, it's very interesting that they were showing off Breath of the Wild souped up. I want it, like, there's certainly a lot of things that you can infer from that. I'm not going to necessarily go crazy and be like, confirmed backwards compatibility, confirmed updates, confirmed 60 FPS. They didn't even say the frame rate here. But that's exciting. It reminds me of when PlayStation did the Spider-Man PS4 on PS5.
Yeah, to like show the changes or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that eventually did become a release that they put out for PS5 as well.
Yeah.
But that kind of coincided with the Miles Morales release, so that made sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so here I have the VGC article here. This is from Andy Robinson. He says, another VG source claimed that Nintendo showcased Matrix Awakens Unreal 5 tech demo, originally released to showcase the power of the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X in 2021, running on target specs for its next console. The demo is said to have been running using NVIDIA's DLSS upscaling and technology with advanced ray tracing enabled in visuals compared to Sony and Microsoft's current gen consoles. However, it should be noted that this does not mean the Switch successor will sport raw power anywhere near that of the PS5 or Xbox Series X, which aren't portable devices. Yeah, and DLS is like the thing where it kind of like does like real time like upscaling things to like do that. So yeah, definitely that would make a lot of sense for like a potential porting console that you still be portable in some way, shape, or form. Something that's like slightly stronger and could like run things a lot better. Like I'd be very curious to hear. I'm trying to see if this article says like what that Breath of the Wild. If this one said it, because I thought I heard somebody talk about like if the Breath of the Wild thing was running at like a full like 10, like it was like 4K 60 or something like that. But I could be wrong, but I thought I heard them saying that was happening somewhere, but
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either if that was in here, but anyways, this all sounds pretty cool. Like I'm back and forth on if like I don't know if I fully need the Switch 2 to be like as like powerful as a PS5 or a Series X, but like maybe it does need to get closer to that so it's not falling behind when like these bigger games coming out, because we already have seen that. Like I definitely just remembered today as we're recording this, I was scrolling through Twitter and people were posting already comparisons of Mortal Kombat 1 on PS5 and on the Switch, and like boy, yeah, you definitely see difference in like the visual quality on those like character models and stuff there, which like is what it is. You could, if you have a PC with a very low spec, you probably run into similar things, but I think it's still smart of Nintendo to like push that a little bit harder if they can and are able to, so that like it can be closer to parity with some of the stuff, so it doesn't get left too far behind when it tries to like make a new console and have to deal with this stuff, for sure. And if it because it says like definitely a big factor for this new thing is being backwards compatible, right? Like I think everybody wants that. I don't think there's anybody under this God's green earth, or on this God's green earth, who does not want this to be backwards, or the next Switch thing to not be backwards compatible again. Like I just don't think they can do it again. I don't think they can get away with like that kind of backwards compatible Switch games, or like having it be like there's going to be another break in like the online services available. Like you need to be able to get this system on day one and like log into some Nintendo account and be able to just like keep using like the Nintendo Switch online, like for different Nintendo Switch online like games and stuff that are already there. Like just need to all be there day one, more or less, in my opinion, at least. Like if it's not there all the way, like I think that's definitely gonna like upset a lot of people. But I mean, like even maybe they could get away with some of the Switch Online stuff, but I think more so like backwards compatible like Switch stuff. Like if you can't just like put Switch cartridges into this, or like pull cloud saves and pull your games off from your digital library onto this new hardware somehow, like that's not good. Like that's people could be really upset.
They're essential features at this point. I think like PS4 to PS5 and Xbox to Series Xbox obviously is a good example of this, but even thinking on a broader spectrum, like people's phones do this, right? Like
people's phones
transfer your stuff to the new thing, and everything just works, and all your pictures are there, and all your screenshots are there, right? Like, I think that this is just like how things need to be right now, and I hope Nintendo takes that seriously, because like we all know that's what really hurt. Like in the Wii U was backwards compatible, and the messaging is what ruined that, but like it's such a different time now. If this is especially going to be a handheld, like a hybrid console as well, like it's gotta be somewhere in the same realm enough that people get the upgrade hardware now. Like This is the new version of this, and it's better. People understand that. You don't have to like be worried about explaining that anymore, but you got to just make everything work together.
Yeah, everything's everything's got to work together. It's just like, it's just a thing that's going to run the stuff you already have better and look better, and then have everything work. Yeah, totally, 100%. Have all your stuff on there. Let's see what else does this have on here. Let's see if there's anything else in this VGC article real quick. If there's anything that's here.
Yeah, so I know there were like other demos, and there were other people that they had talked to.
Yeah, I don't see too much else in this VGC article, but those are kind of the two main things. Is they showed off like a Zelda demo that was like, I'm assuming it was running better,
yes,
on the new hardware, and like I'm assuming like load times, but probably were way better, and maybe it was running at higher res and stuff like that. That was the hope for sure. And then like considering they ran a Unreal Engine 5 demo on here for that Matrix thing or whatever, and it ran it with DLSS. That's a positive sign overall, because that's a lot. So yeah, a lot of positives here to hopefully start off this the Switch 2 rumor rounding up here. We're probably gonna get into as we get into this next year.
Every month we're gonna be checking in on Switch 2 rumors,
more than likely. We'll probably have some more to talk about there. Other than that, the one last little news bit we can talk about here is that when we learned about the Mario Wonder Direct and all the other Mario stuff going on, is this is Charles Martinet, the voice of Mario, the Mario man himself, is essentially stepping back from being the voice of Mario.
Yeah,
won't be. We got like I think we got like a general, like, I don't know how we first heard about it. I think it was just like a
statement.
It's like a statement from Nintendo, but then they actually put out a video on social media of like him on a green screen and like Miyamoto awkwardly like talking on a green screen to each other from at a camera, talking about just kind of his legacy as Mario and how they met. And like how like one of the times they first met was like that's still kind of cute and nice, but like it was definitely just like, couldn't have just got them into a room or something, like just like, come on. But it's fine. But yeah,
tough. Miyamoto's building theme parks,
yeah, he's got to check on his Pinkman and head to his theme parks.
His real life vision.
But yeah, you can definitely go listen to it. I admittedly don't think it sounds bad at all, but you could go listen to the Mario Direct, and specifically the WarioWare trailer that's in the Direct that came out. You can hear them. They definitely sound different. Like it's not like dramatically different, but like I definitely could hear it. I like it's more so the Wario in that WarioWare Direct trailer. Admittedly, when I was watching the Direct, I didn't hear it, but then I saw like a video comparison of it online, like somebody pointed it out, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that is definitely a different Wario take on Wario than what you're used to, because considering he's like talking a lot more in that video to begin with and those things. So yeah, that's interesting. Definitely going to be an adjustment too, I think, for a lot of folks, because he's literally been the and only voice for like the majority of the Mario characters
since Inception, since Mario 64, the voice debut of Mario. Yeah,
so pretty big deal. Definitely the voice of a generation, I feel like, is definitely how would I put him in, right? Like, always kind of been that Mario voice. So it'll be
some great other voice acting credits as well, like some great random ones.
Yeah, and considering like I saw people point this out, it's like his last essential like Mario role was the voices of Mario's dad in the Mario movie. So like I feel like that's still a pretty good way to like have that be like a final moment for him. Like that's him being given the honor to like voice that, like, is pretty cool in my opinion. So like I think I know there was definitely a lot of scuttlebutt of people being like, oh, are they like kicking him out, or like doing this, or what are Well,
Yeah,
I don't think it was.
that's the
Yeah, I
vibe.
don't think it was that nefarious. Like, I don't think they'd be putting a video out on their official channels, and he will still be like, what would they say, a Mario ambassador, where he'll like
Yes.
travel to like events and still like do his Mario voices and do photos and stuff. Like, I don't think if it were ending badly, they would not put him. I'm assuming they would pay him to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
I think he's just stepping down. I think
yeah,
it's time.
yeah, I think maybe he just wants to maybe do other stuff too, maybe.
And
Potentially.
maybe they're looking for mix up. Listening to the Mario Wonder, like, I'm looking for like some touchstone generational change of sound and vibe, but he just sounds like Mario.
Yeah,
Still doing
it's still pretty similar to like what it was, but yeah, there's like you
Yeah.
can tell like little minor differences. I think like you can hear it more in some of like the not Mario like voices, like Luigi and like Wario and stuff. I think sound a little bit different, but I don't think there's like that nothing wrong with them mixing that stuff up, and like I think they're still generally pretty good.
Yeah.
They still sound like those characters overall, but yeah, definitely an end of an era.
End of an era. Thank you, Charles Martinet.
Thank you, Charles.
Your smiles.
Good luck on future endeavors, sir. Good sir.
Yeah, hopefully you get some of that theme park money.
Yeah, yeah.
That.
You can go hang out at one of those theme parks and just get hella bank probably.
Hell yes.
For some of those trips for sure. But let's get into it. The video game time. Let's talk about some games. I think again, the only really thing I think me and you have played. Well, you have.
I've played a lot of Switch in the last
I was gonna say.
months.
Yeah, I was gonna say you played through Tears of the Kingdom again in this time period. Okay.
I've not finished it. I'm like 3 out of 5 dungeons down, basically.
Okay. What spurred on this like wanting to replay it already? Just because it's very good. That's fine.
It's so good. Mike, I don't know if you remember, this game is like unbelievable.
Yeah, it's extremely good. I definitely had plans to like want to go back because there's like things I have not like finished. It's mainly like side stuff, and it's like a lot of really basic side stuff. But there's like a lot of like the underground stuff I never like went and did. Like I never really refought a lot of the bosses in the underground again and did that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I wanted to do that, but then obviously now we're in video game hellscape, so maybe that'll happen a little later.
The longer you wait, the better it'll be, is the thing. Because it had not been that long, to be honest. Like my first playthrough of Tears of the Kingdom is like a 10-day blur. And I was like, to part the kimono a little bit here, I was like really starting to hit an estrogen high in that time period. So I was like very emotional, and that was still very new to me at that point. And I just like absolutely absorbed myself in that game. So I think coming back to it and very intentionally taking things much slower has been very good. I wanted to just play it differently. I just wanted to do things differently, and play in a different order. And I just wanted to play it again. I just want to be in Hyrule. I'm having dreams in Hyrule, so I might as well go there while I'm awake. And the modifier that I put on this that was like truly, for me at least, like very game changing is no fast travel. Period. There was like one break glass in case of emergency, like area of the underground where it's like, okay, there's no way out for me, so I have to fast travel. But generally, it makes it so different to play. Like I'm preparing way more. I'm like also doing just a little bit. I've been doing this with all the video games I've been playing lately, but a little bit of role playing. I have my horse. We check in the horse. If it starts raining, we go to a stable and we stay the night type deal. Like little things like that have made it more fun. Pro HUD, no mini map, barely any map usage, just kind of going wherever my heart desires. And when you go down underground and you can't fast travel out of there, it's like, I need to be prepared for this. I'm going to cook a bunch before I do this. And like, I'm down there for hours. It's like very long periods of time, like 10 hours just underground. Partly like, I'm going to check off some boxes while I'm down here. I'm going to look for repose and do some plants, light some lights, but also like desperately at some points looking for a way out, and cooking and doing things like that. That like I'm using every part of the elk, like every ingredient, every type of potion,
Marking.
everything. I
Oh, you're not really using your map, but I was like marking the map where those like actual exits are that you can like ascend into or whatever.
I am marking them so I remember them.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
But it's just try it. Take like 2 hours of Tears of the Kingdom and don't fast travel for 2 hours, because at least toward the end of that game, I feel like you're zipping around. You want to go everywhere. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, as you're doing cleanup. That's totally what I did. Is like I probably predominantly played without much of that. Besides, like when like you said, the scenario you would get in where you're underground, and I'm just like running around rummaging underground for random stuff, and it'd be like, okay, I'm running out of stuff now. Let's get out of here. Like, and then I'd just like zip back up to one spot. But then usually once I'd zipped, I would just like kind of run around, and I didn't do as much fast travel yet to like the end where it's like, okay, I need to do this side quest or this quest. Let me try and start checking these off, and then I would zip around. Yeah,
I would be like fast traveling to towers frequently to just jump up and like go in a different direction. So having that be more purposeful, just spending like way more time on the ground. Like the music I appreciate more, like the actual Hyrule theme is in this game, which I didn't know the first time I played it, because it only plays when you're riding a horse like for longer than a couple of minutes. And it's like a really good, beautiful take on it. Just like I've played too many like knock it out of the park video games this year. We need to stop.
Nope, we're not done yet.
I cannot believe like the fact that I have to play Alan Wake 2 as well. It's like, very glad we don't do Game of the Year.
There's part of me that was like bringing it up. I was like, maybe we should do it, but I don't know. Yeah, that's a lot to talk about.
I brought up my idea of what to do instead, but we'll see what happens. But what a year! Just like
pretty insane.
Is one of the greatest. Is at least for me the greatest video game I've ever played. And I've played at least like 5 other video games that I would put in my like top 30 ever this year alone. Like the Dead Space remake came out this year, and that was fucking great.
Yeah, extremely well done. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, it's crazy. And there's still like things I haven't even like touched yet that like I've wanted to come out and like I want to play. Like, what was it? Bomb Rush Cyberpunk came out like a few weeks ago. I want to play that. There's like a smaller like farm simming game called Fae Farm that looked really cute and fun, and like I've been in like the vibe for like a cozy sim like that game, just because like Fantasy Life has just like disappeared into like smoke at the moment. I'm still waiting to hear if that's coming out this year or not. But honestly, I'd be fine at this point, because like you said, there's just so much.
Just let it cook.
Yeah, Alan Wake 2 and Spider-Man 2. Like I'm very excited for both of those. Yeah,
and Mario Wonder.
Still so much to come out.
Hell, that Avatar game looks all right.
That looks all right. I was watching a stream today. I was watching a stream literally today of like one that I was like curious about because I played a demo. Was Liza P. Yeah. And then that got like really good reviews and like is coming out like in 2 days and it's like on Game Pass. So I'm like, all right, well maybe I will just play that then. All right, people say it's really good and I liked Elden Ring and even getting more into Souls games, I'll give it a shot. But then there's so much other stuff going on, and of course our other podcast, Helm of Tower, Destiny 2. Like, season's been pretty good. On top of the madness that's happening this week has been really fun.
Yeah,
and then we still have
Destiny
a whole another season of that in like a month or two too. Like it's just nonstop stuff going on.
And again, as previously established, the final shape does come out like 2 days before Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is offensive to me personally.
Yeah, specifically targeted. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But speaking of pretty good RPG video games, and another good game that came out that we both played.
This is already a top 30 like all timer for me.
Yeah, it's extremely good. Sea of Stars came out.
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic. I've finished it. I rolled credits, and then maybe a minor spoiler.
There's other stuff to do.
Yeah, there's other stuff to do, and maybe there's a true ending that comes from doing some of these things.
Yeah, that you should do. Don't. I'm
yeah,
not going to sugarcoat it. You finish the game, and then you should keep going
Yeah.
because you cannot stop there.
yeah, because there's a lot of extra cool stuff
Great stuff.
from that. But yeah, basically, Sea of Stars, if you're not familiar with it, RPG made by the Messenger people. They're going for that Chrono Trigger look in terms of sprite work, but I would say, like, from a gameplay perspective, it is straight up like a Paper Mario or a Mario Luigi style game. Like like the moves you were doing as those characters are straight up just moves from that game, where you're like timing your button presses to do extra damage, or you're like ping ponging an attack back and forth between characters, and you can sit there and just mash it and it'll just keep going like moves from those games, as long as you can just keep doing it.
Yeah, we did a viewpoints of this.
We did, yep.
That you can go watch. Very cool, like little extra things that you can do on top of that, like hitting enemies will restore MP on one level, but it also like knock out this mana that you can use to charge up your next attack, and you can charge it up the extra 3 times. And there's also combo moves that build from a combo meter that you get from stunning enemies. Like lots of like little simple systems in combat.
They kind of all work like in tandem with each other, which I really liked.
Yes, very well together.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. I am shocked at how good this game looks. There were so many times where I would either take a screenshot just because it looked incredible, even sometimes like in combat, like the moves and maneuvers that you're doing are so cool. But also that I would like record a video clip because an animation was like so good that I wanted to save a GIF of it for my review. And look forward to that, because I have so many little GIFs that I'm going to put in there. Just so many incredible little pixel animations with these kind of 16-bit characters.
Yeah, it looks super good, and like the whole cast is pretty fun. I will say, admittedly, like some of like the story stuff like took a little while for me to get like into.
Sure,
because I think like there was the characters themselves are cool, are good. Shout to Garl, of course. But I think like, this kind of, there was an overarching story that was pretty typical, like I would say RPG stuff, right? Where it's like, yeah, you're 2 born heroes, and they're the heroes and protectors, and they need to like, come to age to take down the evil threats. And how it weaves into that a little bit later in the game, I think it gets a little bit more interesting. But I think like,
sure,
for a while it was just kind of like, I was like admittedly just kind of going like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever, yeah, let's move on. Like,
yeah, it took me a lot of Monster of the Week type stuff.
Yeah, very typical early JRPG stuff like that. Like the town we do in the viewpoints is like, I like that little like the boss you fight, because it has like a bunch of callbacks to like the games we mentioned this game is kind of inspired from. But like, it's a pretty standard thing of just like, oh, we need to go stop this guy, and then we did it, and then we go save it, and then we stop it, and then it turns out he was just kind of upset about a thing. He wasn't actually a bad guy. No, we're all friends now. All right, yay, everything, and then at the end, and then it kind of just moves on.
Not how it goes sometimes, though, I will say.
Yeah. From like later in, it definitely gets a little bit more interesting, and there's some twists and stuff that goes into it. That's pretty cool. I won't spoil. I guess we won't get into too deep of spoilers, maybe, but yeah, very very charming game. Definitely, I will say I appreciated the like all the extra little kind of doodads and things you can get through playing, like the relics and stuff. I thought were like a cool system that were like partially like accessibility things, but also things that are just like, okay, yeah, I just let me just turn this on and like let me see like when I perfectly time attacks to like see like the counters for that stuff. Was very nice.
Music also incredible,
pretty good,
very good. There were a lot of the boss music in particular I very very much enjoyed, but there were a lot of great like character themes and moments underlined by very good music. There were a lot of good callbacks to the Messenger music, which has a very very good soundtrack that I like a lot. So here
nice.
it is. I was very excited.
Yeah, I'd be curious. Yeah, having played this now, I would see if there's like a video that was like, here's all the things that like it calls back to from that game. Because like, I figured out, I assumed like kind of like the one big one, which I think I saw something about that, like the one kind of big one. It does like towards like later in the game, but I'm sure there's a lot of other smaller things that are there as well, like you were mentioning.
There's a lot of stuff.
So that's pretty cool. Yeah, and I mean, like, I think, like, I would say if you are hankering for like you are a fan of those Mario Luigi games or like those Paper Mario games, and sad that you don't have one of those kind of games these days from Nintendo, like, go play this, because this is like as good as one of those games in my opinion.
Yes.
Even better than some of those, I would say, in some ways. So yeah,
it's very like polished. Is one of my big takeaways. Like, it's one of the most polished games I've played all year, to be honest. Like, I had zero issues throughout my entire time with it.
Yeah, same. I did play it on PS5 because of the you could get it through PS Plus, and it's on Game Pass too, so you can just get it right through that. But it is on Switch, so you can play it there as well. But yeah, really solid little RPG.
Yeah, very, very recommended. This one really hit some heart chords for me, and I had a lot of feelings coming out of it. So I ended up really liking it. And like you said, the like Mario RPG itch, like I've had that, I feel like for weeks and weeks and weeks, and this like absolutely perfectly scratched it.
Yeah,
almost bums me out that like I played this before Mario RPG, because honestly I'm like kind of settled on that, and I know by the time 1,000-Year Door rolls around, like that's all I'm gonna want to play. So if you are like one of those people, one of those dozens of people that love 1,000-Year Door, like you absolutely have to play this game.
Yeah, for sure. Those games are like the Mario Luigi games. Yeah, like 100%. Like Nintendo hit them up to make one of a game like that again, like make a Mario Luigi game.
Yes,
this team up, because they could definitely do it. I have definite confidence in that. But yeah, that's really good. That's really overall a very good one. Sea of Stars. And then I guess I'll close out here by brief Pinkman 4. I did beat it, completed it. Overall, I did really enjoy it. I think again, I think I talked about it in the last episode. I'm trying to remember what I all talked about, but like overall, I think from what I remember of Pinkman 3, I think I still like that one more overall. Just because this one focused so heavily on like the underground stuff rather than like making like interesting kind of overworld kind of exploration areas you could do. And I will say, like, the final boss in and of itself was pretty brutal, just because of how it works, where it's like it is like a whole like underground gauntlet thing where you do like I think it's like a 20 level underground thing that you go through each time, and each floor has its own little mini challenges. Then you get to the boss at the end. It does have like the game lets you like checkpoint stuff, so you can like checkpoint before like you go into the actual final boss arena, because that's what ended up happening to me, where I like kept going down and down and down, and then like by the time I would get to where the boss room was, I was like down to like very little Pinkman in things going on. So I just kind of went like, well, I like the room right before it is pretty clear, like you're right before the boss room kind of room, where you can like, it has like the little special Pinkman flowers that you can throw the Pinkman you have into it, and it'll change them into like a different version. Like if you have yellow ones and throw it into a pink flower, you get like the flying Pinkman out of it or whatever. But yeah, how the final boss works essentially, so my spoilers, but basically it is like a giant dog and the dog like transforms into different like Pinkman styles, where like it'll be like a fire dog at one point, and it shoots like fireballs and like around the arena, and then for another phase it'll be like an electric dog, and it'll make like these little electric like balls that shoot out like lightning bolts around them that you have to like dodge and weave around. But then when you have like hundreds of Pinkmen with you, trying to weave around all that stuff, and them getting the like effects that the Pinkmen do, where you have to like have like the right Pinkman to counter it, like it's just a lot going on in that boss, and it's like it goes through like every phase where it's like you have an ice version of the dog, you have fire, you have electric, then you have like a green one. It's like it goes through like 4 or 5 phases of all of this as you're like trying to fight it. And then it like at one point goes up into the air and it's like flying around and stuff. And it's just like, yeah, it's like a very like elaborate final boss that was kind of a little frustrating to fight, frankly. But beat it.
I love that though.
Yeah, beat it. And then wrapped up Pinkman 4. I immediately played a little bit of the Olimar. There's an Olimar story, so I guess I'm getting spoilers here because the whole second, like basically, like once you beat kind of the game, which is like the first half of the game is like saving Olimar, and then once you do that, like the second dairy story opens up, which is like going on this whole other extra. You go into more areas.
Pinkman 1, right?
Well, the Olimar thing is Pinkman 1. Like there's 2 different things because like there's the Olimar thing, which is basically like him retelling how he ended up where he is now, and becomes like a plant version of himself that you have to fight or whatever, like the weird plant people in Pikmin 4. But yeah, it is essentially like it is basically you are replaying through like Pikmin 1, but like in the environments of Pikmin 4. So like it still is like the maps of Pikmin 4. But it is like set up in a way that's like, hey, you're running around this environment, and you have much more. You have limited time again, like in Pinkman 1, and you have like a much more limited set of Pinkman that you're working with, and you're like running around trying to find ship parts, and like the arena, like the areas you go through are like the maps from Pinkman 4, but they like are slightly altered where like it'll have like, oh, your starting point is here compared to where they are in the base game, and then like there's different like traps or like things you have to like work through to get that. And how you accrue like upgrades and stuff is like different from the first from the base game, because you're not like going back to your hub and like talking to the professor dudes to get upgrades and stuff. It is just like you completed this level and now you get this upgrade, or like since you got this ship part, now you can do this ability or whatever. So yeah, it's like basically a challenge mode where you're kind of replaying Pinkman 1 more than anything. Where
it's
like
weird that makes me want to play Pikmin 4 more than anything else.
Yeah, like it's a fun mode. I think the actual main Pinkman 4 stuff I enjoyed a lot still. And like the story stuff gets weird in the second half, because like the whole conceit is like, yeah, like why are these people turning, what is this plant fungus like virus that are like turning people into plant people, like it kind of gets a little bit more into that, and gets into like what the Pinkmen are themselves. And apparently that's like sounds kind of actually like fucked up when they kind of like tell you those kind of like lore bits. It's more totally like like a lore thing rather than like full on just like it being a part of like the main story. But like you can go read it, and it's just like, yeah, so the
like Splatoon,
yeah, like so the Pinkmen are kind of just like a virus or something. We don't know, man. They just kind of show up, and it's like Jesus, what is okay? Like they're bad in their own ways, kind of thing. And it's like weird. All right, sure. Go off, Pinkman. But yeah, overall, it's, I think it's still a pretty solid and fun Pinkman game. You can, if you like Pinkman, I think it's definitely worth playing. But I think I still liked 3 a little bit more for overall as like a full game. But there's still a lot to enjoy in 4 as well. But yeah,
that's cool. It's cool to hear that they made a Pikmin game that a lot of people are into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, overall pretty good. Dandori battles, fun time. Dandori.
That's like, Switch is checking every box. It's got a Pikmin game.
It's got it all. Got it all.
Got 2D Mario. It's got the best Smash Brothers.
Mm-hmm. Got best of the franchises even now back on it, like Metroid Prime and a bunch of Zelda games, and yeah, Switch is good console, and it's only got
job,
another good. It's like only got another year of probably still pretty good stuff coming.
And then we're really going into the trash heap. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, we're going into the dumpster until the new Switch or whatever. Well, no, we're not. We're going into the year Paper Mario, baby. That's what 2024 is. Let's go, motherfuckers.
Yes,
Let's go. We did it.
We won.
We won by getting a remake of one of the greatest games of all time.
It's worth it.
The dream's real.
It's going to be so good.
It is going to be a great time for Nintendo people, Nintendo fans, and like us for next year. But I think that's going to do it now for this Nintendoland. Thank you everybody for joining us on another trip. As always, here on Nintendoland, if you either watched us on youtube.com/irrationalpassions or on podcast services, we appreciate it as always. And yeah, we'll probably be back. Our next episode will probably be like, I would say, like a month, end of October. So expect like a month or so from now, once Mario Wonder is out and we've played a little bit, and we'll probably do some streams as well around that time, playing Mario Wonder and enjoying that, and talk about whatever, if any other news pops up in between here and now. More Switch 2 rumors or whatever. We'll see.
Announced or something. Yeah, we'll break glass in case of emergency and talk about it. But
for sure,
not necessarily worried about it.
Yeah, not yet, but we'll see. But anyways, thanks everybody again as always. We'll see you next time. Bye.